Section 1. You will hear a man asking about tourist facilities in London. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 5. You will see that there is an example that has been done for you. On this occasion only, the conversation relating to this will be played first.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Can I help you?
Yes, I hope so. My friends and I are in London for a few days, and we'd like to see a few of the sights.
Well, I can certainly help with that. Anything particular you'd like to see?
The man is visiting London with his friends, so B has been circled as the answer. Now we shall begin. You should answer the questions as you listen because you will not hear the recording a second time. Now listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 5.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Can I help you?
Yes, I hope so. My friends and I are in London for a few days, and we'd like to see a few of the sights.
Well, I can certainly help with that. Anything particular you'd like to see?
Not sure, really. There's so much to see. It's not easy choosing.
Yes, London has a lot to offer. Let's see. To start with, are you interested in historic London or more modern attractions?
Mostly the historic sites. But we don't want to miss out on what's new either.
OK, there's Buckingham Palace, the Tower of London and Hampton Court Palace. They're all really popular royal attractions. And there's Windsor Castle too, but that's quite a way outside London.
We've only got 5 days, so I think we'll have to stick to what's in London.
Good plan. You want to enjoy yourselves, not end up rushing around everywhere. Now, what about museums?
Yes, we'd like to visit a couple. Nothing too serious, though.
I think you'd like the Science Museum and Madame Tussauds, the Wax Museum. Both have a lot of interactive exhibits, which makes them great fun.
Sounds good. What about art? Any good exhibitions on at the moment?
Well, a visit to the Tate Modern's one not to miss.
I've heard it's got a very wide range of contemporary art from around the world. What about more traditional stuff?
If it's traditional you're after, I'd say the National Portrait Gallery would be a good choice. And they have up-to-date exhibitions as well.
Any other things to do?
I'd say no visit to London is complete without a trip on the London Eye. It's a great chance to experience a view of the whole city from above and to get some great photos.
Oh, yes. My friend was telling me about it. That's a definite yes.
You can even have a private capsule if you book in advance. And if there are enough of you, it doesn't work out that expensive.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 6 to 10. Now listen and answer questions 6 to 10.
So, how about general tours? What would you suggest?
Let me see. There's a riverboat cruise, if you fancy a leisurely and relaxing day out. Or the open-top bus tours are very popular, if the weather's good. Or if you and your friends are fit, there are bicycle tours, which are very popular with younger tourists.
Which would you recommend?
Well, I know the boat cruises have very knowledgeable and informative commentaries, but the bus tours have recorded talks in 10 languages. And the good thing is you can hop on and off.
And the bike tours?
They're good because they're cheaper, and groups are usually small. But as I said, you have to be fairly fit. But they do show you secret bits of London.
Well, there's certainly plenty to do. Can I take some of these leaflets?
Help yourself. But if you've got a smartphone, you might find it easier to download some apps.
Good point. Do most of the sites have one?
Yes, they're really good these days. A lot are free. They have interactive features and let you take photos and share them to your favourite social network.
That'll save me carrying loads of brochures and a camera then.
It will. And most app tours are now in over 21 languages too.
That's good to know. But I'm going to stick to English. That way I'll carry on learning the language as well.
Good idea. Now, what about restaurants?
That is the end of section 1. You now have half a minute to check your answers. Now turn to section 2. Section 2. You will hear a radio program about local attractions. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 17. Now listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 17.
So, Jonathan, you're going to update the committee on how the plans for the open-air concert are going?
Yes, Anna, thank you. And the short answer is very well. But I'd like to take some time to explain in detail how the organising is progressing. As I'm sure you can imagine, there are lots of details to take into consideration. To begin with, as we discussed previously, the idea behind the open-air concert is to arrange an event that would be enjoyable for the performers and the audience, and to do this as cheaply as possible. So, what do we need? Well, the venue's obviously free and available as it's the school playing field. The next thing to consider is the weather. Of course, we're hoping for a sunny evening, but we need to be prepared for rain too. The local youth club have offered us the use of a waterproof canopy, which needs a few minor repairs, and we also have the offer of a huge tent from a local hire company. It won't cost us anything, even without any advertising. And the college in town have agreed the loan of a sound system. All we'll need to do is pay for the insurance of the equipment for the evening. Finally, food and drink for the event. The catering department of the college have offered their services free, and the school governors are likely to subsidise a barbecue, so it won't be expensive. We can easily organise a selection of soft drinks as well.
Before you hear the rest of the update, you have some time to look at questions 15 to 20. Now listen and answer questions 15 to 20.
I think that's all we need for the actual event, but there are lots of other behind-the-scene activities that need sorting out as well. The safety aspect is very important, and to avoid any accidents, we'll need a clearly marked audience-free zone. The performers are asking for a 3-hour setup time, and we need to make sure there's good vehicle access for them too. This should be fine, as the car park's right next to the playing field. I've done quite a lot of research, and I found out that one of the most important things we need close to the performance area is a suitable and safety-certificated power supply. I don't see this being too much of a problem, as the changing rooms are at that end of the field, so we can use the electricity from there. I've done a full risk assessment, and there are limitations regarding the running of cables, but I'm confident we can meet the safety guidelines. And the last thing to think about is how we're going to let people know about the concert. The group that are performing give details of all their concerts on their website, as well as on their social media pages, but we need to advertise locally as well. I thought it would be a good idea if each class teacher organised a poster competition. We could put the posters that the children design up around the town and offer free tickets for the concert to the best entries. I've also put an advert in next week's local paper. So, overall, I'd say we're pretty well prepared. Now, does anyone have any questions?
That is the end of section 2. You now have half a minute to check your answers. Now turn to section 3. Section 3. 3 overseas students at a British university called Brad, Sophie and Miyaki are preparing to write a critique of an article. They are discussing how to write a critique of an article. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 27. Now listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 27.
Hi, I thought I was going to be late, but it looks as if you two have just arrived yourselves.
Hi, Brad.
Hi, Brad.
So, have either of you selected the article you want to critique or comment on? Miyaki?
Yes, I've chosen something, but I'm still thinking what to do with it.
Sophie?
Well, I got for this one on restricting government funding of university courses to science, technology, engineering and mathematics.
That sounds suitably controversial.
Yes, it is a bit.
What are you going to say about the article?
Well, my immediate reaction is that it's effectively nonsense.
The article seems to have made you quite angry.
It does.
You don't seem to be afraid of criticizing the article. I can't see how we can criticize people like professors and writers, etc.
Well, yes, we can. It's difficult if you think about who they are, but we're not writing about the writers, but the contents of the article.
Okay, I'd not thought about that. I suppose I'm thinking more of the people.
Yes, but we have to look at the sources that have been used in the article and what other people say as well. We have to remember that articles like this can have consequences for government attitudes to the funding of courses and hence affect people's lives and the economy and society at large.
So, what are you going to say in your comments about the article?
Well, I'm going to agree with some points, but I'll probably contradict the majority of what is said using recent research.
Like what?
Well, I've got a rough table here on a piece of paper, so for a start, the article says that more students will be equipped for a job in the modern world, but not everyone is suited to studying science, technology.
You mean the STEM subjects?
Yeah, and because all of us have different goals and personalities. And secondly, the article says that certain subjects like art, drama, and languages, etc., are more hobbies than subjects. And if people want to study them, they should pay for them themselves. But these subjects are vital core subjects. The reason for this is that we need people, teachers, to teach languages and businessmen and women who speak a wide range of languages. In the global world, it's not just sufficient to rely on one language such as English. Having different languages is good for business and good for the economy, so the government should make sure that universities offer as wide a range of subjects as possible.
Yes, but
Sorry, 1 minute. And thirdly, the writer even says extra money should be given to students and universities that train scientists and engineers. However, enough money is pumped into these areas already. We do need engineers, but not at the expense of other investments in other subject areas.
But don't you think then that it is justifiable for universities to concentrate on STEM subjects?
There is nothing wrong with concentrating on them, but not at the expense of the arts and social sciences.
But don't you think that these are less important to society?
Definitely not.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 28 to 30. Now listen and answer questions 28 to 30.
I just want to check that I've got the organization of the critique correct.
Okay. What do you think it is?
Well, am I right in thinking I should highlight the main points of the article and then create an outline using these points? Then in writing, I restate the main points with the main supporting evidence, but without inserting my own opinion. Then perhaps I should review everything to get rid of unnecessary or less important info. And then the tricky bit for me, which is to write a review of each point in my summary, saying whether the author is accurate or, clear.
And you also need to comment on how effective the writer is, and mention any new contributions he or she has made to the field, and also mention areas where the article might need improvement.
The last bit is the part I'm unsure about. I'm just going to play safe, I think, and agree with everything.
You have to be careful with that. You also need to write about some strengths and weaknesses. For example, are the facts correct? You need to do some basic research on this. You'll be surprised what you find.
And the conclusion, well...
That is the end of section 3. You now have half a minute to check your answers. Now turn to section 4. Section 4. You will hear part of a review for a diploma course in software engineering. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 40. Now listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40.
Good morning and welcome to the course review for the Diploma in Software Engineering, which is being led by myself and John. I'm going to look back over some of the important aspects of the diploma. One is the work experience element, which I hope now you'll all be able to see the benefits of. And another aspect I'm going to focus on is a compulsory module in the diploma, which I know you've all been exposed to, and which I think is essential for today's world and will be very relevant in the future. And that is entrepreneurship. First of all, as regards work experience, all students on courses in the department have benefited from experience in software companies either before joining the diploma course or on day-release work attachments during the course. The reason that many such companies are clustered around the university is, as is probably apparent, that they've been set up mainly by past graduates of this course and other courses in the department. Some of the seminars and lectures have also been given by past students from these companies, so they are inspiring role models and champions for the university. It's clear that we have a good track record of getting people into work. And the advantage of gaining some kind of experience in the workplace? The work experience, which is at the core of this course, provides plenty of opportunities to put the theoretical aspect of the knowledge and skills learnt into practice. It's not enough just to learn the theories behind the software engineering. The practical side is vital. Employers don't just want qualifications. This doesn't mean that qualifications aren't important, they are, but practical experience in a workplace is important. In today's competitive global market, it is difficult and sometimes seemingly impossible to gain experience if you haven't got a job. But all students finishing the course are very well placed as far as the job market is concerned. And the main advantage of the entrepreneurship module? One current phenomenon that will benefit all young tech entrepreneurs is current market trends, which will continue well into the future. While the future world is likely to be more dominated by global enterprises, Business people and governments are also likely to emphasize the need for more small companies, such as flexible tech startups. These companies will be able to react to changes in the market much more quickly than large companies, where decision-making can be slow and change difficult to enact. So the secret is to develop an enterprise that is dynamic and can respond fast to changing market trends. The networking skills that you also focus on in the entrepreneurship module in the diploma will also help everyone in their careers. Networking is a crucial skill that is needed out there in the real world of work. The course has provided ample opportunities for students to establish contacts and build up their own networks. In doing so, we also hope we've shown how systems within organizations work, and more importantly, what aspects don't work. Everyone has also seen what it's like to put together a team of people to work on a project. If someone intends to go it alone, this will show what challenges might be faced. And finally, networking provides a springboard for future developments and a chance to see if there are people out there that you could or would like to work with. If going it alone, by setting up a business, is the preferred option, it is important to keep in mind how the benefits of the entrepreneurship skills learnt on the course go beyond your own career. The skills that have been acquired on the course can open up economic potential and be a source of new jobs and growth. This can lead to economic independence and benefit the local economy, and incidentally, the reputation of the university, especially this department. In the World Skills module, non-cognitive skills have been the main focus. These have included opportunity recognition, innovation, critical thinking, resilience, decision-making, teamwork, and leadership. It is useful to reflect on these when working in the real world of work. I'm now going to hand you over to my colleague John, who will talk to you about finance sourcing for setting up businesses on your own, or even in conjunction with the university, including an exciting new pilot scheme being launched this year, through which the university will part fund new tech startups. So I'd like to take this opportunity to wish you...
That is the end of section 4. You now have half a minute to check your answers. That is the end of the listening test. In the Ielts test, you would now have 10 minutes to transfer your answers to the answer sheet.